Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am Jenny with Real Estate Brokerage, and today we're going over what is going on with how expensive Utah is. Is it going to change? What are we looking forward to? Salt Lake versus Utah County. If you're someone who's looking to move, you guys make sure you stay on my channel because wherever you're at, your home ownership starts right here on my channel. Let's get into it. All right, there's a lot going on in Utah, you guys, and Utah continues to be on the rise as far as one of the most expensive states to be living in the United States. It used to be known as a farmland area, a place where people could establish land, have a low population count, and live more of the urban lifestyle. Now we're starting to see Utah turn more into the city lifestyle. We've got the high-rise condos coming in, the townhouses, massive amounts of populations. People are being pushed to the outskirts of the cities to be able to even afford a home, whereas the busy cities are just getting more and more expensive. We have a lot of businesses coming in Utah, so I want to really talk about it and what that means for you. Take attention over to my screen over here. As you can see, the cost of living right now in Utah, buying versus renting, is 4% higher than the national average, and that is buying and renting. Right now, to get a rental property that has an average of 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, you're looking around between $1,500 to $2,000 a month, depending on what city and location you're in. Now, if you're wanting a garage and a basement and even 4 cars, you're almost looking at $2,400 just a month to be able to live on that. Now, looking back about 4 years ago, $2,400 was a lot of money just to even buy a house for a monthly payment. Now, to buy the average home in Utah, which is around $550,000 with a 3.5 down payment on that, you're looking close to be around $4,000 a month on a monthly payment on that, depending on interest rates, the influx, and what's going on with your loan. So this is a lot of money that we're having to pay out in order to buy a home. So a lot of people are questioning, is it even worth being a homeowner in Utah? Is it too expensive? What should I be looking forward to? Because there is an influx of a lot of people wanting to move to Utah, and there is a reason why. Now, I've posted a lot of videos on why people are moving to Utah. We've had a lot of people move out from California over here, a lot of people from Nevada over here, a lot of people from Texas over here. I have lots of different people reaching out to me every single day wanting to know what the best places are to live in Utah, because Utah has a lot of low crime. Yes, we are becoming more expensive, but it's also becoming a lot more desirable to live in Utah. All right, let's go back to this. So utility still is 7% lower. We have all 4 seasons here in Utah, so that could be because we're not running our AC throughout the entire year and we're using gas for our heaters. Our food is saying, based on this website at rentcafe.com, is saying it's still 2% lower than the national average, because when you're dealing with cities, it's a lot harder to get food inside those cities and actually support the mass population, is my assumption on that one. We have transportation right here, which is 8% higher. This is because Utah needs to work better and harder and more efficiently to actually bring transportation systems in. There are a lot of cities in Utah that don't even have busing systems in here, and there's a lot of cities that don't even have access to the front runner or the transit system, which has been infrastructured in Salt Lake. Now, there's still a lot of rumor going around of trying to build these infrastructures, but the majority of them are going to be in the more concentrated cities such as Salt Lake and Provo. Park City itself does have a busing system, but there's no transit system to be able to get from Salt Lake City to Park City. Imagine what that would look like. But the biggest issue is the Wasatch Range Mountains. So as you can see here on the map right here, the Wasatch Range, on where the mountains go, is where the majority of the people want to live in Utah. But having to go into the mountain, out of the mountain, it's more of a lifestyle living here. So when we're talking about transportation, we're not going to get transportation into the mountains. The mountains are for the skiing, the hiking, the camping, the biking, the fishing, and you're not going to get transportation within those unless you're actually working with a private company where they're busing you through the hotel system or through the snowboard system of snowboarding or skiing or something like that. So the reason why we're 8% higher is because we just don't have any transit systems set in place for all of our cities. So our gas money is definitely going out the door a lot quicker. They don't have goods and services here, so the average is only 4% higher, so it's not really that high if you really want to look at this difference on here. So if we're looking at the actual city and comparing the cities right here, Salt Lake City is the highest by 9% according to the national average. Then we've got 8% for St. George. St. George is really, it's down south, and it's known for the red rocks. You're really close to all of the national national parks down there for the Red Rock National Parks, Moab, Zion, Bryce Canyon, the Four Corners. So it attracts a lot of tourist people, which is why it's driving up that price for sure. And then Provo's 3% higher. So you're seeing the 3 largest cities in Utah are the most expensive cities to live in. And that's because people desire those cities. I've done a video on Provo. You can click the link below if you are interested in learning about Provo. I call it the mini Salt Lake of Utah. Notice here though, Nephi, which has a very low population, I believe the population is below 20,000 in that city, has below 15%. So if you're wanting to live in a more of a rural city, you might be able to get a cheaper cost of living. Now, something to note though is that you are going to have different types of lifestyles down there. So I've done the pros and cons of living in smaller towns in that video above there as well. Let's go over employment rate and if Utah is a good state because you're wanting to move and actually get a job over here. I get clients all the time that say we want the lifestyle that Utah offers with all 4 seasons and we're sick of the state that we're living in. We just need to find some job opportunities in Utah to be able to move over. Now, Utah is a little bit more crammed as far as opportunities, but they're still doing really, really well. The unemployment rate in Utah is 3.5%, which is actually very low compared to the average of the rest of the nation. And the growth is only continued to grow by 1.5% for unemployment here in Utah. So if you're to look at the national average of unemployment, it's over 4%. So staying at a 3.5%, we're looking about average. So we are getting up there. So it's something that Utah is paying attention to is making sure their unemployment rate stays low. What they're doing for that is bringing infrastructures. Some of the most popular businesses, bringing in the most businesses is going to be like your healthcare. A lot of hospitals. Utah loves our hospitals, loves our healthcare. Healthcare is really important to us. And so it's actually bringing about 16,000 jobs in 2024 was what the healthcare business brought in. Just business and corporate in general brought about 7,300 jobs into Utah just in 2024. And construction brought about 6,500. Now here's the thing about construction. Utah is an up and coming state, has a lot of up and coming cities. I just went out with a client to look at all the different builders in 2 different cities. And I tell you, the number is large with how many builders are buying land in Utah and wanting to subdivide out these areas in order to build homes. Because right now in Utah, it's actually cheaper to build a home than it is to buy an existing home. Now that depends if you want to go custom or if you want to go with a builder who already has house plans built up for you. There's pros and cons to everything, but a lot of new build is happening because there's a housing shortage supply here in Utah. Let's jump over to that housing shortage supply, as we were just talking about that. The housing shortage supply is literally over 150,000 homes that we're short on based on the population and those who want to own. So there's actually a trend of a lot of people living with relatives and family until they can afford a home, because a lot of people are on the line and the fence on even being able to afford a home, which is causing a huge line. We have tons of homes available on multiple listing marketplace that people can buy, but the problem is the cost of living is so expensive that a lot of people are staying in that line and causing a larger and larger housing supply shortage. That's a tongue twister. The average home in Utah costs about $570,000. That is a 2.3 increase from the last year. Now, that is a lot smaller than what we have seen in the past years. During COVID, we saw up to 20% increase of purchase prices because of interest rates. I'm going to be making a video about interest rates and where they might be going in 2025. If you are interested in that video, leave me a comment below and we can talk about that one. So if we're looking at the overall shortage of housing in Utah, it's about 12% based on the population, the people who have a housing shortage and want to buy a home and are standing in line. The best advice I can give to those people who are standing in line wanting to buy a home is, 1, get in touch with me. Let's talk about your situation, because you might be able to afford a home that you didn't even know you could afford. There are plenty of loan options out there. You might really buy a home without taking any money out of your pocket and not having to tie that into your loan. There are grants out there right now for houses under $450,000 or lower that will pay for your down payment that you do not have to pay back. The second advice that I would give you is adjust your expectations on knowing what kind of home you could buy. Now, about 10 years ago, the American dream in Utah was to buy a home and stay in that home for 20, 30, 40 years. That is no longer the dream that's available to the young people who want to be able to buy a home, especially first-time home buyers. So what I would expect you to do is to look at something like an investment opportunity. If you're young and you don't have any kids yet, or you maybe have 1 or 2 kids that are not in elementary school yet, this might be a really good opportunity for you to buy a condo. Then you can use the equity in that condo because you can see that the increase is moving up and up. Imagine making 2 to 6% equity on your property year after year. Live in that property for 2 to 3 years, be able to turn it around and either rent it and pull out a home equity line of credit, or to just sell it and take that equity and then leverage you into the next home. That is what I did. If you are young, don't have young children or even no children, this is an opportunity to maximize on, especially with the grant program for homes under $450,000. With groceries always being up and down, COVID creating a lot of national threats and series and fear inside of us, make sure that you don't let fear drive your decision. Yes, life is expensive. Yes, there's a big gap between income and actual living costs. I have done a video on living costs in Utah and that link above there. Go check it out. But the most important thing is to talk to a professional, to lay out the numbers, help a financial lender help you, guide you through credit scores, monthly payments, what your debt to ratio is, and so you can have a good scope of where you're going. Even if you don't want to move between 1 to 3 years, it's still really smart to sit down with somebody and it doesn't cost you anything. So make sure you leave a comment if you are interested. Give me a call, text me, and I've left a link down there below, you guys. Find a time to meet with me through the via chat if that's something you want to do, because I am here to try to help you find ownership in being a homeowner and how to use that ownership as an investment in moving forward, because wherever you're at, your home ownership starts right here on my channel. Guys, I'll see you in my next video.